What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SandStorm meetup. I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday today. We are joined by the Deadheads, Tempo and Jeremy. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. This is a sign of respect in the underworld, so I'm flipping off your audience out of respect.
Out of respect, it's respect, guys. So welcome back on the show. You know, we've had you guys on before with the bounty games. And today we're here to talk about the Deadheads. So, you know, you can again give a little introduction to your guys' self, the team behind Deadheads, you know, how you guys got started in NFTs, and then maybe a little bit of an introduction to the project itself.
Yeah, awesome. Hi, everybody. So, Deadheads, let's fucking go. Deadheads is sort of the premier entertainment project in the NFT space, in my opinion, obviously, because we were the first to the jump. We made this in June last year, and it kind of was, at the time, one of the most popular projects in the space, and since has done over 5,000 ETH in volume and has been a really great experience. Last time we were here, we talked a little bit about Bounty Games, which is something Tempo and some incredible developers developed, which is a clue-based NFT game. But really, at our core, what we spend most of our time on, like almost all of it, is Deadheads and trying to make Deadheads as good as it can possibly be. So what happens is basically GMI Studios, which is the overarching company, has plenty of employees. Within GMI Studios is Deadheads and Janai. Janai was how we first started out in the NFT space. It was AR.
Mm-hmm.
And Deadheads was our second foray, which was entertainment and animation. So you basically follow a storyline with your character that you purchase. That was a long way of me saying you can get into the NFTs represents a character in an animated series and all the sort of integrations we do thereafter. And we're 5 episodes in right now. If you go to deadheads.io, you can catch some of those episodes. And we're constantly looking at how to iterate and become better.
Awesome. And yeah, you guys, you know, right on the website it says first ever animated series that gives character ownership rights to its fan base. Like you said, you've been around since June, which in this space is extremely impressive. And I mean, yeah, that's the ownership rights to the characters. Literally one of the first things, you know, when I got into NFTs that I thought about, watching like Pixar movies with my son. Like I start thinking about, you know, what if someone was able to actually own like Mike Wazowski or Sully or, you know, different things like that. You could say like you own the rights to that character. And you know, you guys are doing that. That's what you guys are all about. So it's really
Yeah,
cool.
and the implications are pretty massive because you're able to take those characters and build off your own integration. So like you're saying, like if you own Mike Wazowski or whatever, over time, not only owning him would be incredible, unlike
Mm-hmm.
the thousands and thousands of Charizards are out of there. There's only one of that Mike Wazowski character. Monsters Inc. I know it, but I can't say the
Yeah.
words. Um, and and then you can also build out your own, puzzles or games, or if the character got large. So right now, even in our current ecosystem, with our current fan base, if you make physicals of your deadhead, if you have a popular deadhead, other people can go into a portal and order more physicals. So over
Mm-hmm.
time, you can imagine that if you had a character that was prominent in the episodes, fans of the episodes themselves could go in and start buying your character, thus giving you some kind of passive income. So there's some really interesting ways this model works.
Yeah. So what you're saying is like, well, I guess first I want to ask about how many deadheads are there?
10,000 deadheads.
There's
And there's
10,000.
10,000 skull troopers too. But the skull
Well,
troopers are actually not minted out yet. So the skull troopers were our enemy of the dead, and they'll be present, throughout. They live in the universe. And what was great about skull troopers is we did something that no other project has done, to my knowledge, is we're taking all the mint and we're reinvesting in the show.
mm-hmm.
So every single dollar of that mint goes into the show, which enables us to really like maximize the investment of everybody and really see it through
Yeah.
properly. Because so the Skull Troopers were just a great experience, great art, great characters. They function just like Deadheads, but they're the enemy of the dead.
Yeah. And so with the 10,000 deadheads, that's the flat number. There'll never be any more.
There'll never be any more Deadheads. In fact, it gets quite interesting because we're introducing Halo Heads soon.
Yeah.
And these are sort of evolved versions of Deadheads, and how they can be sort of acquired is you burn a deadhead into the deadhead's treasury, basically, so it goes back to us, and then you get a vessel in exchange, and this vessel can be swapped into the Halo head. So sorry, you burn your deadhead and a dead ticket. Both of those become a vessel, and the vessel becomes a Halo head. In short, what this means is there'll really only ever be as many Halo heads as there are dead tickets available, and there'll really only ever be as many sort of dead heads in constant circulation as there aren't Halo heads. So it's just interesting dynamics. There'll never be any more than 10,000 dead heads, but it gets even more interesting as you dial down further into that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was wondering, how the process of, you're using deadheads in episodes. So like, were people able to like watch the episode and then mint the deadheads that were in that episode, or did they mint out the deadheads and then their deadheads were in episodes?
People mint out deadheads and then they stake them in something that we call a casting pool. So once those deadheads are staked into our casting pool, they are then available to be shown in the animated series itself.
Okay. Awesome. And then, when someone's deadhead is in an animated series, do they get, what do they get from that? Just the props of it being in the show?
When someone's deadhead is in an animated, when someone's deadhead is staked into the casting pool, they earn a token, an ecosystem token called show. So by staking into the casting pool itself and just giving your deadhead to be available for the show, you earn this token. Now, if your deadhead is presented in the show, obviously the value is a lot higher for you because then it's becoming more advanced in the storyline itself, which is a way that we see like alternative to rarity is accruing value through like character integration. And then so you earn show token and you obviously have appreciation. You can also take that show token and you can mint assets from within episodes. So it's just kind of cool. Really cool.
Okay. Awesome. And how do you guys pick, I guess, what deadheads are featured in the show?
We have a casting process. So we'll have the script written first, and then we'll find out of the casting pool the deadheads which are sort of most applicable to the script. And it's the same with voiceovers. The focus is always on finding the right fit, but it's the casting director, the producer, those people go through the casting pool, and they pick based on that.
Awesome. So it's essentially you're like, this NFT's manager and they're your actor and you're trying to get them roles in a show and, sell merchandise of them. I mean, if it's a popular character, you can sell shirts of it. You can sell action figures, all different types of things.
I think that's a great way to put it, but it goes a step further too because we're producing the show itself.
Yeah.
So someone's agent might not be producing like the show about them. They'll be trying to get them into someone else's show. So that's a slight deviation from that example, but yeah, great explanation. This shot right here is awesome because that's Meta World Peace. That's actually Meta World Peace voicing that guy right there.
Oh wow, okay, yeah. That was the next thing I was going to ask is like who does the voice acting? Because I watched a couple episodes before you guys came on, and I was wondering, who does the voice acting? How do you guys go about picking voice actors? Is it people on the team, or do you guys outsource that?
So if you want to find the show, go to deadheads.io. And how we find the voice actors is we find them from our community, and then we sprinkle in some professionals. So we have Meta World Peace here. We have another professional voice actor called Nesta. We'll have more coming soon. We kind of love giving everyone the opportunity to be participants, but also throwing in some celebrities here and there and influencers. It's really finding the best person for the job at every step of the way, opposed to kind of pandering to any one given type of individual.
Yeah, awesome. So you actually use people from the community if they want to be in that's so cool. Yeah. So I mean, I really like what you guys are doing because one of the first things that people ask me when they get into NFTs is like, do you actually own it? I think a lot of people have like this misconception of like, just because you have a receipt of ownership doesn't mean you get the intellectual property to it. I'm like, well, when you go to Walmart and you buy the Avengers movie, like you don't own the Avengers, but there are certain NFTs that do give you the IPs, such as Bored Ape and different things like that. And yeah, like I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to touch on the whole casting process again, it's the whole concept of the casting pool and the staking into the casting pool isn't necessarily just for you to earn a token and for us to use it. It's literally the fact that we don't own the IP of your
Yeah.
character, and so we need to license that back from you.
Mhm.
And in staking it into our casting pool, that's you licensing it back to us to say, hey, you guys are producing a show, you guys are producing manga, you guys are producing, you know, all these commercials, potentially feature film in the future. I want my character to have a chance of being in that, so I'm licensing back my IP to you guys for a period of time so that you can then use it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I get it. That's because, yeah, it wouldn't be right if you guys were just like, all right, well, we made these characters, we're going to use them. We don't care what you say. Like, you know, you give the holders the right to say, like, hey, I don't want to be in the show and I just want to have the characters. So, yeah, no, that's awesome. You know, do you guys ever, I mean, you guys say, you know, you're wanting to get a featured show, whether it be on Netflix or Amazon, Hulu, something like that. You know, how are those, how's that looking?
It's looking good, and it's talking to all these experts in sort of the Web2 industry. It's been quite enlightening as well in a lot of aspects. Getting on a platform such as Netflix, for example, is really great for distribution, but it's not necessarily great for the growing of the brand. There's tons of shows on Netflix that get 0 views.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's actually more important than getting on Netflix is just continuing to grow and improve on the show and grow the community that we've already cultivated. It's a lot more of a Web3 way of doing it, but obviously as just a general catalyst, yeah, getting on Netflix, getting on Amazon, getting on these, you know, more traditional media services is going to be incredibly powerful. But we are also in talks with a lot of key contributors to the Web2 space who are starting to look at Web3, and there's a lot of very interesting mechanisms of distribution that are starting to be looked at.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be really interesting because, you know, I think with the next couple of years, you're going to see every major company just want to at least dip their feet into Web3 and NFTs and in this space, whether it be creating their own metaverse or even like Netflix wanting to have a show that is based like around, you know, ownership in NFTs. You know, if Netflix were to approach you guys and say, hey, like we would like to talk to some of your holders about, I guess, buying the like exclusive rights to them for 3 years. We want to do a 3-year Netflix original with some of your characters. Like, I think that would be really cool.
Agreed. And that's kind of where the distribution of ownership and IP would become very interesting as well, because, you know, there's thousands of characters that aren't owned by us. And so Netflix could actually go and approach the owners of these characters to cast their characters in their show. And then they get all the earnings from that process as well. So it's it would all depend on exactly what Netflix would want in that situation. But there's obviously a number of options with this sort of hybrid IP ownership animation model that we've started to develop. And I think that'd be really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be awesome. You know, I guess a question that I had, you know, do you guys ever, I guess, help any of the holders, I guess, with the process of monetizing their deadhead? Because there's probably a lot of people out there that buy it that don't know how to, you know, be a manager of a brand or something like that. Do you guys have any like onboarding process for them?
I think the incredible thing about IP ownership in the NFT space and with Deadhead specifically as well is like we very much frame it in a way where it's when you buy a Deadhead, it's your soul to control. So you can do anything you want with that. You can do, you know, you can make it as simple as just owning it in your NFT wallet and really taking pride in that ownership, as we do with like almost every other NFT right now. Or you can 3D print it out and put it as a mantelpiece in your home. Or if you do want to take it a step further, obviously it's not like, you know, it's not 100% mandatory for you to take it a step further, but you obviously can do things like print out stickers, sell them at Comic-Con. You can, you know, if you work at an advertising agency and they are looking for something like a cute dead character, and you're like, oh, fuck, I have the perfect character for that. I have IP ownership and we can just use this deadhead that I own. That's amazing. Or further down the line, if you are, you know, even if you're a game developer, you're friends with a game developer, or you get approached by a game developer who are looking for these different character sets, and you happen to own a few deadheads that are really, you know, really cute, really dead, and really interesting characters, you can then license them to that gaming studio. But there's so many different ways, and it's really up to each individual person. Like, we have one of our collectors trademarking his dead head and starting a comic series centered around that specific character named Sal. And then obviously the vast majority of people are just holding their dead heads for now, and taking that pride of ownership in this new digital world.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what everyone does. I mean, yeah, the comic series, that sounds cool. Cause yeah, like I said, stuff like Bored Ape, there's been a lot of people that have done a lot of things and created a whole brand out of nothing, just simply using their Bored Ape. So, it'll be awesome to see.
Yeah, I heard like Bored Becky's ape. There was a tweet she retweeted where it might be in The Masked Singer next season, which I thought was like crazy.
Oh wow, they're gonna use the ape in The Masked Singer.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's
cool.
It's
wild.
I know. I saw him at the gas. I was getting gas today, and like there was it was like a Shell or something. And it was showing Jimmy Fallon and Paris Hilton flexing their apes.
What? Like an ad?
It was either an ad or it was just showing. Yeah, it was like showing the clip from their show. Like when she went on Jimmy Fallon's show and they were talking about the apes that they had bought. Like it was showing that clip on there, and it was just talking about NFTs, like on the gas pump. So
I remember that scene, and the entire audience was like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about?" Right?
Yeah, everyone's. It's been the butt of a lot of jokes this year, but everyone's. I think will eventually come around to the idea of NFTs and what's going on.
Agreed.
If nothing else, it made a cultural impact enough that it could be like considered, important to the NFT world and to perhaps the art world as well.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. If anyone in the chat has any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll be sure to ask those questions. I did want to ask you guys about the green room. You guys mentioned that on the website a couple times. What exactly is the green room, and how does minting like the assets from the episodes, how does that work?
The green room is a pretty incredible piece of tech IP within Deadheads. As we understand traditional shows, we understand them as being having props, but there's no real ownership of those props. They just go to people who worked on the show, et cetera, et cetera. In animated shows, there's really not much that happens with those props. Perhaps they're merchandised or something of this nature. In our model with the green room, we're able to take those props and we're able to digitize them and turn them into some kind of merchandising for our collectors at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're currently looking at our DApp, which is our sort of custom built app for Deadheads.
Yeah.
The green room, if you see below Evolve, is what I'm referring to at this exact moment. And after an episode, that green room will be filled with digital merchandise for a collector to claim and keep. And it's great because if you're a current Deadhead, you're kind of benefited in a much larger way because these green room assets are just for you at this time. And as more people come into the series, perhaps they'll have some kind of artifact value, perhaps not.
Oh, so you can only mint them if you own a Deadhead?
Yes.
Okay.
Or
awesome.
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah. The green room, I would say, in my opinion, is like 100% going to be a methodology used for like almost all animation companies in the future. It's something it's so obvious, it's so painfully obvious once you look at the Web3 entertainment space, especially in the animation field, because people doing animation, a lot of people don't realize this, but animation is like a really powerful form of art. And art is obviously already transcended the NFT space. Like that was like way back last February where like art really started taking off, and it still is, of course, but the animation space is just as much art as these 2D pieces of art that artists create. Like animators are artists, and so when they create all these assets that are already digital in nature, turning those into NFTs and distributing them as digital merchandise / digital collectibles is like one of the biggest no-brainers for an animation studio to do. And it's also a hell of a good time for any really big fan of a show to actually be able to collect these things digitally.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, a lot of the background stuff and the props are just they're just made for the show. And like you said, like someone usually, I guess like Disney or Pixar would just own the rights to them, and they don't do anything with them unless they put them on a shirt. And I just always think, when I think of like big companies, corporations coming in, like they're always going to be looking at how to line their pockets and how to make the most money. And like, yeah, if you create something, I think Nightmare Before Christmas, I think is a great example of a animation that has a lot of characters, but also has a lot of props in it to where you could license that out as an NFT and they can make money based off of people just trading it. You know, like they're going to get that money if someone trades a coffin and it gets traded back and forth. I think they'll see that and they'll be like, you know, we should probably start doing NFTs and let people own this stuff because we own it and do nothing with it. So
exactly.
yeah.
And it's not even about like licensing the IP for these assets either. Like even at the, because I can see why like Disney might not want to license out the IP for certain things, but just using them as digital collectibles where IP is not given with them is still incredibly strong. Like I love, for example, like the show Game of Thrones. Like my favorite character is Arya in Game of Thrones. If I could own like her sword Needle as like as like a limited edition NFT where there's only like 5 of them in the entire world, that means something to me. And that's what's incredibly powerful about the space and this and the whole concept of limited digital ownership is that all these cool little collectibles from your favorite TV shows, those could be NFTs. You could be a limited owner of that. You take pride of ownership in that. It's fucking fun collecting shit that you like, you know? So it's so much more powerful than people give it credit for. And I think all these entertainment brands are gonna start to catch on to that pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think people don't put the value in the fact that it is digital and people are like, oh, well, I can't like physically touch it. And it's like, you know, I collect Pokemon cards and like I have, you know, a couple nice Pokemon cards, but I don't carry that Pokemon card around with me. You know, I might have a picture of it, but if someone was like talking to me about my collection, like I'm not going to whip out, you know, a nice Pokemon card as to where everyone has an iPhone. Everyone has, not everyone, but a lot of people have Apple Watches to where they can pull up their wallet and show them like, look at this. I have this from, you know, Game of Thrones. I have Arya's sword, and they'd be like, what? Like, that's so cool. Like, there's only 5 of those. And I think people get lost into this, like, I want to touch it and feel it when like you are touching it and feeling it. It's on your phone though. It's just like, I don't know. I don't understand people's thought process.
Yeah. Not everyone can be like Logan Paul wearing a, you know, $1 million Pokemon card of Charizard around his neck.
Yeah. I wonder how much he probably had to, you know, have that put into some black case and shipped off somewhere. Cause if he would have left the arena with that, he would have had to have some security around him. People like, oh, well, I guess I don't know if anyone would be stealing a Pokemon card unless they knew what it was, but yeah. So I do want to talk to you guys about the Skull Troopers. We do have some Skull Troopers up here in the social hub. You know, we touched on it briefly, but if you want to, I guess, tell me a little bit about the Skull Troopers. What are they? How did they become what they are?
Skull Troopers are very interesting because, like I mentioned originally, they tie together the underworld by being the enemy of the dead. We believe their art to be some of the coolest PFP art in the space as well. But most importantly to us, they provide us the liquidity to fund a lot more of these episodes for season 2. And that's really what our focus was on when we release them. I will say they're still minting. So if you're in the audience and you would like to join the Deadheads ecosystem, be it staking in the casting pool or minting assets out of the green room or just earning show token, you can actually do that via purchasing a Skull Trooper, which are available to mint on our website, deadheads.io. We are definitely looking at that mint and thinking of ways in which we will help the community by closing it down sooner. But I'm of the mind that right now, if this mints out for a year or whatever it may be, people will look back and mention it when they talk about the success story of Deadheads. They'll mention that you could have got a Skull Trooper at any time.
Mm-hmm. And how many of them have you guys minted so far?
I think 8,500 are minted right now.
Okay, so you guys are almost a fully minted out.
Yeah. But the last, I mean, our community is very intense and strong and tight. So I think the last mints will have to come from outside of our community, and there'll be people who get lucky enough to join it. And I'm excited.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, if you guys are watching, you guys want to go pick up a Skull Trooper, head over to deadheads.io. And what does this mean? Where you have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4?
Tempo?
Yeah, this is like the ranking system, aka the hierarchy of the Skull Troopers and their army. So they are the army of the main enemy in the show. And within that army, there are these different ranks of hierarchy. So you have the leader, you have the royal, you have the general, you have the guard. And those also correspond to levels of rarity with the NFTs as well. So if you mint and you pull a leader, that's fucking awesome. You're incredibly lucky.
Mm-hmm.
If you mint a royal, that's also really good. And the most common one is going to be a guard.
That's when you go back and you mint another.
Yeah.
Like, right, we got to get another. We got to get something better than a guard. All right. Awesome. So, you said that the funds from this are going to be helping to produce the show. So I guess we'll talk a little bit about the show. How many episodes so far have you guys made?
We have made 5 episodes so far
Okay.
of our first season. And we have our season finale, episode 6, coming out at some point in April. We still don't have a hard timeline on it, a hard premiere date, because we're putting in so much extra time and so much extra effort and so much extra money into this episode to make sure it's the best one yet. And there's, of course, going to be action scenes in it and a few more, complicated shots that take more time to animate.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as that episode 6 is released, then we turn into a very, very fun next part of our roadmap, which is short season. What short season is we are going to produce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10 different shorts. And what these shorts are is it's 90 to 120 second videos. And you can think of them as almost trailers into different premises that use the Deadheads IP. So
Mm-hmm.
these could be totally different stories. All 10 of them can be incredibly different stories. Could be different animation styles. It could be different writers. It could be different voice actors. It could be different characters, different everything. And what we're trying to do is tune all these different independent variables and try to narrow down what makes the best possible story in the Web3 space. And the way that we're going to do that is, of course, we have this incredible, large community who wants to have a say in what we're doing. We're going to be turning to our community to then decide which of these shorts, which of these premises do we want to double down on and produce season 2, feature film, anything that we want. And so what short season comes with is sort of this incredibly fun season of short clips that are so nuanced and varied in their delivery and in every single aspect of them. And then the community comes in and says, fuck it, short number 3, that was so fun, that was so funny, I love these characters, let's double down on that. And then that's when we go knees deep, balls to the wall, and make sure that we double down on that.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, short stuff is all it's the rave right now, especially, everyone's brains have been tuned to like TikTok and stuff. The short videos, everyone has a short attention span. So I definitely think, throwing some short episodes out there before season 2 drops could definitely help with the promotion of the new season. How often do you guys release an episode?
We've been churning out about 1 a month so far, but we definitely want to be able to speed that up. One of the biggest hurdles for us within this fast-paced NFT space
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that people want content as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And producing rapid, high-quality animation content is just not really feasible.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the big things that we've been trying to sort out, and one of the reasons why we are moving to the short season next, is so that we can produce content a lot quicker. We can go with multiple different animation studios who are producing things, at the same time in parallel, so that we can then, produce, instead of 1 at a time, once a month, we can then produce 5 at the same time and have them all released within, a span of a week from one another. But that's 100% been one of the biggest challenges so far is keeping the attention span of this,
Yep.
Incredibly ADD, fast-paced NFT space.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the short episodes will be, I think that'll be good because you'll be able to put out more episodes and you'll be able to keep people more engaged. And yeah, I think it'll be awesome. I'm glad Grieve in the chat asked this. He said, "What happens when I buy a dead head ticket?" So I did want to talk to you guys about dead tickets. What exactly those are? You guys want to give a little?
Dead tickets are the current currency of the Deadheads ecosystem. The only purpose for dead tickets beyond season 1 is a very big one. You're going to want to make sure you listen close to this. If you're buying a dead ticket, you take your dead ticket and your dead head, and that is the only way to get a Halo head. So dead tickets, I don't know how many are up for sale, but are extremely integral to getting a Halo heads out of your dead heads. That is the purpose.
Yeah, think of dead tickets as like a moonstone or like any sort of stone in the Pokemon world, where you take your dead head, you fuse it with this moonstone, in this case a dead ticket, and that's the way that you take your dead head and you evolve it into a Halo head, which is like it's the exact same artist as Deadheads, a ton more time. It's so much higher quality, the art. My PFP right now is actually a teaser of a Halo head. But Halo heads will be coming out at the same time as season 1 finale, which is episode 6. And at that moment in time, that's when all dead vessels are going to be turned into Halo heads. So that's essentially when the reveal is going to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you mentioned that you have to, I say burn with quotations, because you're not really burning the NFT. It's sending it to you guys, the deadhead, to get that Halo head. Is that the only way to get a Halo head, is through burning the deadhead?
Yes.
And so
it's the only way. The only way to get one is to burn a dead ticket and a dead head, and it sends it to the Deadhead's treasury, of which we had a community vote on what can kind of happen there, and that went down about 6 months ago. So yeah, it's kind of like the cost of admission into Halo heads is to kind of lock your dead head up with us, and send it back to the team. And I think that's at the moment a very solid sort of way to do it, because we just kind of, it's basically like burning, because we just basically retain them. So
yeah, you guys aren't going to do anything with them
we haven't had a
community
vote. We haven't had a community vote on that yet. So right now, I mean, we're definitely not going to sell them in the immediate future. And I can definitely say that a community vote would never happen, that would have them ever sold in a short space of time. But maybe there would be we'll put some things out, and who knows what they'll be, but it could be, vesting schedules, or they could be decided that they never touched, and things of that nature. We'll have to see.
Okay. Nice. And I'm assuming you'll be able to stake the Halo heads to earn show as well.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so you can stake Deadheads, you can stake Skull Troopers, and you can stake Halo heads. Essentially, any character where we give you IP ownership rights and we need to license them back, we're gonna incorporate that into the staking/casting pool.
Okay, nice. And how many Deadheads are staked right now? Do you guys know?
Staked Deadheads is it's between 1,500 and 2,000, I believe. Last time I looked, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but the beautiful thing about our community and the people that we have associated with the brand is that they're all such long-term believers in the project, that a ton of, like, a very high percentage of those Deadheads that are staked are locked up for a 2-year period, which in the NFT space is astronomically large. But that just goes to show how much our community and how much our collector base believes in the vision and what we're building, and they know that we're in this for the long haul, and we will do everything in our power to make it successful. And we appreciate and love our community so much for the belief that they put in us as a team and as a project. And the other thing is the amount of dead vessels right now is, I checked this the other day, actually. I was quite surprised with how many there are. It was like 1,100 already. So there's 1,100 burned Deadheads. There's close to 2,000 staked Deadheads. So that's already like a third of the supply is already being kind of locked up / slash burned,
Mhm.
which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely could see some supply shot going on within the deadheads over there on OpenSea. I did want to talk to you guys about show. It is your guys' ERC20 utility token. You said it's not currently live because right now you still have to use the dead tickets kind of as your currency. I guess when do you guys plan on having the show token be live?
After season 1. So the season finale, which will be in April, will be the last time that you can use a dead ticket within our green room. And after that point in time, we were going to be switching over entirely with any new content, the green room, in order to interact and purchase assets, purchase this digital merchandise. It's going to have to be within using show token.
Okay.
And so that's where the dead tickets are going to be used for Hailheads. Any leftover dead tickets, we're going to set up a faucet for where you can burn your dead ticket for X number of show token as well, just to make sure that they're not entirely deprecated.
I was just about to ask what happens if you buy a dead ticket and don't spend it until that point. So thank you for answering that. So the main utility basically for show is going to be to purchase the assets in the green room, correct?
Correct.
And do you guys have any other plans in mind of what you guys could use show for?
When we originally conceptualized it, we anticipated there'd be use cases for a token that facilitates assets within shows, hence the name being show. So nothing as of now to say to that topic. It's just an ecosystem token for now.
All right, cool. And I did want to talk to you a little bit about community. You guys seem like you take a lot of the community say in consideration when it comes to episodes. Do you have like a place where people could submit ideas, or do you ever show the community, I guess, episodes before they release to get, I guess, a little bit of like preview and see what they think before you guys put the episode out?
There's no necessarily advantage beyond collecting assets from within the show, because an important part of onboarding people in Deadheads is to have more people watch Deadheads. So we sort of gatekept that process, a la like some other projects which don't allow you to see the show unless you mint the project. You sort of actually just hurt yourself. We want to reach as many people as possible. We want as many people as possible to see the show, right? So what the advantage of being a holder is to become a voice actor if your voice works, or become an asset holder of the bong lamp in episode 1, or these kind of things are really only available to holders.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And we do premieres. Actually, now you mentioned it, we do sometimes do premieres in Decentraland.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just wondering if, like, I guess to get community input, like say like, hey guys, like we're going to release this episode, is there, do you guys like this episode? Do you think there's anything we should change? Or I guess just taking ideas, like if someone was to just write a story or script for you guys and drop it in Discord, do you guys take things like that into consideration?
Yeah, we had 100%. We have a whole Discord channel dedicated to that. We even had a short submission period recently where people could submit shorts, and we would turn them into animations, the best of the best. So we definitely take into consideration the community at all steps. It's a real fine balance, though. I'll tell you, like people want to be heard, and everyone wants to have their say, and everyone wants the show to be participatory, but everyone also wants other people to buy their shit sharp.
Yeah.
And people aren't buying into something that they don't enjoy. So we have to really what we've kept having to lean towards is going like to create the best possible story for the future instead of cater to the current community members' sort of creative desires, because the balance there is one that literally it kind of pivots the whole project. It's the necessity is to create the best story so that new people want to join the franchise and participate. And so we're constantly having to balance act between those two things.
Yeah. And I did want to also bring up the you guys did are currently doing a Twitter impact program. I was reading about. I think it started the first of this year. $100,000 prize pool. What is a Twitter impact program?
The Twitter impact program is something that we developed to reward the most active participants of the community. Something we think that could have staying potential as well in other projects, because a lot of people in communities work really hard and they don't really reap any rewards other than sort of pumping the whole project bags.
Yeah.
So we just think that participation on Twitter should be rewarded. So we made an impact program. So it's the people. It wasn't to gamify participation as much as to reward existing sort of participation on Twitter and equitably sort of help those people do well for spreading the good word and enjoying Deadheads.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess how is that going so far? Is there I did see that you guys have like now an active leaderboard. Like, is there someone that is just going above and beyond? Because I do like that. You know, there are communities that I'm a part of where people are just actively every day memeing, posting memes, and like you said, like they never reap any benefit besides pumping, I guess, their bags, but also everyone else in the community's bags. And so yeah, like how
Yeah,
I guess how
exactly.
is it going?
Yeah, it's going brilliant. I mean, the number one guy, Bing Bong, congrats. He's been putting in the work, and Diamond Dogs has been putting in the work, and they've been doing stuff for months. So putting the leaderboard out just kind of showed them where they ranked. Showing the leaderboard, yeah, I mean, you can kind of see where people are. It's kind of funny because sometimes corporations end up in there, like Bankless, and so on and so forth, which is always kind of funny because I don't know if they even. They obviously have no idea. Yeah, we're actually going to develop the impact program over the next 2-3 weeks so that other people can use it too. So if anyone in here wants to DM Jeremy Jensen _ we can open that up for you to launch your own impact program if you want.
Nice. Yep. Any project leads or anything out there? If you're watching the show, you want to get an impact program, start rewarding some of those holders that are
we
pumping
built
the
it
bags.
already, so we were like, this is just like people could use this, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, we are coming up on close to the end of the show. I usually like to ask if you have any alpha leaks you'd like to drop for anyone watching.
The one thing we haven't revealed yet is the rest of the Halo head species. So we've only revealed the humans, and this is something we actually haven't touched on yet. But depending on the type of deadhead that you burn to be evolved, that indicates what type of Halo head you're going to have. And so if you burn a human deadhead, which is the most common deadhead, you're going to end up with a human Halo head, which is the one that I have on my screen right now. If you burn a zombie deadhead, you're going to have another special type of Halo head, which we haven't revealed yet. But it's like a demon type, which I think we're going to reveal at some point in the next couple of days here. I should have changed it to my PFP as the alpha leak, but that would take me too long to figure out with my fat thumbs.
All right. Well, yeah. So, I mean, how many different species are there going to be of Halo heads? Can you say that?
Yeah. So humans turn into humans. There's skeletons that turn into another type. There's mummies that turn into a type. There's zombies. There's gold skeletons, and there's ghosts. So there's 6 total types of Halo heads, and each of them looks entirely unique, different. And depending on which type you burn, that's going to be the type of Halo head that you get. So we have some people burning ghosts and gold skeletons, which are the 2 most valuable deadheads, which you'd ordinarily be scared to do. But one of the big benefits that we have with the way that we're doing this is that it's not necessarily always going to be the floor deadheads that get burned. It's going to be the floor deadheads for each specific type.
Yeah.
And so it kind of helps in a couple ways, but one of them being the less aesthetic deadheads, which naturally will be at the floor of their specific types. Those are going to be the ones that get replaced with this more evolved, unique, more aesthetically pleasing Halo head.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I wanted to ask because Slater keeps putting it up there. I'm assuming that it's supposed to be Biggie Smalls, that you guys have legendary deadheads. What is that about?
That is actually how the concept of deadheads came to be. Jeremy and I, as Jeremy mentioned earlier on the show, our very first project back, we started it like over a year ago, back in January 2021. But it's AI Art House, which is AI generated paintings by some of the masters in their fields. So Picasso, Renoir, all these different incredible artists, recreating their works using AI as novel works that have never been seen before. And once we finished that, and the project sold out, we also gave out free physical digital prints that you can hang on your wall. And once that was finished, we were looking to innovate in the AI space even more. And we were like, what else can we do in the AI art space that hasn't been done before? And my background is of course an AI engineer. I had done it for 5 years prior to switching to Deadheads full time. But the big thing that came up was resurrecting, instead of resurrecting physical painters, resurrecting artists and musical artists. Specifically rappers was the first one that we came to. And so the way that you do this is with deep fake technology, the same way that you can make Obama say really funny things that he's never said before. You can make rappers like Tupac or Biggie or Mac Miller. You can make all these rappers rap things that they've never actually said before. So in one line we have the rapper talking about the Kardashians, which of course in their lifetime the Kardashians would have never really existed. But because of this technology, you can resurrect these dead artists and have them rap about modern day things that are happening. And we wanted to create a collection around that, which is what you keep seeing on the screen there. And that was the art that we made for it. But because there's so many legal gray areas with using someone's likeness, even though they're passed away, their likeness still belongs to the estate. And so we kind of ran into a couple hurdles there and decided to get rid of the audio aspect of it, and instead sort of keep the same underlying theme of resurrection and resurrecting dead things. And we already had some of the art made, which are these cute little adorable dead collectibles, which only our artist Posy, who's one of the most talented 3D artists in the entire space, could pull off. And that's essentially how Deadheads came to be.
Awesome. Little origin story there.
Yeah. Little origin story, exactly.
Nice. Well, I do appreciate you guys coming on the show today. It was a great chat. You guys are doing a lot of things, just not even in just the Deadheads project. I mean, we've talked about a bunch of things where you guys are working to license out other things. And I mean, it's great stuff. And like I said, anyone that wants to be a part of the Twitter Impact program, hit up Jeremy.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sharp. Well, it was such a pleasure to be here, and such a pleasure to talk to everyone in your community. We love Deadheads, and we just love building it, and we have been doing that for like almost a year now, and we don't really see any signs of stopping. In fact, we're just getting started.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone for watching today. Make sure you guys check out Deadheads, join their Discord, follow them on Twitter. Go check out the Skull Troopers if you guys are wanting to get a part of the project at a mint. You guys can go mint that. They're still minting out. And we will be live once again tomorrow. So make sure you're following SandStorm's Twitch, Twitter, join our Discord to get all that information. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.